I plan to use 3 dragons to rule the 7 kingdoms. I have always raised them as if they were my children. But when I tried to calm Drogon, who was fighting over food, he suddenly roared at me fiercely. This made me realize that the wildness deep inside a dragon can never be changed. They will never become obedient hounds. The growing Drogon was very hungry. He set his eyes on a herd of goats. The boy herding them was too scared to move. Then Drogon used dragonfire to burn the entire flock. Finally, he grabbed a roasted goat and flew away. The scene shifts to the palace of Meereen. A shepherd brought a package. Inside were the charred remains of the goats. I had no choice but to promise 4 times the compensation to the shepherd. Only then was he satisfied and left. Then another man came in holding a package. When he opened it, the entire palace turned cold, because inside was the burned body of a child. And it must have been my dragon who did this. This girl should have been playing happily, but now she had met her end. To prevent more innocent deaths, I made a painful decision. I brought Rhaegal and Viserion into a prison. It was cold and damp, with thick iron chains. I tearfully placed the shackles on their necks. But when I turned to leave, they let out confused cries. I did not stop walking. The 2 dragons understood my intention. They kept wailing, but I had no other choice. One day I stood on the balcony of the palace and suddenly discovered Drogon had returned. I joyfully tried to touch him, but Drogon only glanced at me, then turned and flew away. This made me feel very sad. That day I was attacked by rebels in Meereen. They wore golden masks and called themselves Sons of the Harpy. Jorah and Daario tried desperately to protect me, but there were too many enemies. I slowly closed my eyes and accepted death. But suddenly a dragon's roar came from behind. Everyone was drawn to the sound. It was Drogon who had returned. This made me extremely happy. He breathed fire and burned the assassins. Soon all nearby attackers were dead, but a spear from the distance wounded Drogon. I immediately helped pull the spear out. The pain made Drogon roar at me, but I stood fearlessly in front of him. Drogon was moved by my courage, so I rode on his back for the first time.
Vla.
In front of everyone's shocked eyes, I flew away on the dragon. Jorah and Daario escaped during the chaos. Drogon took me to a strange place. I hoped he would take me back to Meereen, but the wounded Drogon was so weak he threw me off. I had to find a way out on my own, but I encountered the Dothraki on the road. I realized I had entered their territory, so I took off my ring and threw it on the grass, hoping Jorah and Daario would find it and follow my trail. In the end, I was captured by the Dothraki.